All praises to the Most High. Hi, beautiful people. The Father wants me to talk to you about kingdom marriages, your ordained spouse in your marriage, right? Concerning like your family, your friends, and yourself, okay? So this message is kind of rough, but I'm telling you that this will help you. Um, all right, so I'll just get into it. I ain't gonna hold you. So basically, God wants you to know that you don't need your parents' approval, your friends' approval, your your best friend's approval, or anyone's approval about the person that he designed and made for you. Because your mom and your dad are not your one flesh. Your mom and your dad had their chance of raising you, and then you're supposed to leave your mom and dad and go to your one flesh. The person that God made for you is supposed to be your best friend. Um, God doesn't like that you people say you have to meet my parents. You have to be approved from my parents. Um, Correction, you need to be approved from God, right? The person that you're with, the the approval comes from God. All right? God wants you to know that you should not care what your parents think, what your friends think, or your children think about the person that he made for you to marry. And you should not be getting any advice from friends, from family, from best friends concerning your spouse. And that if you have a problem in your marriage with the person he designed and made for you, that you should be getting the counsel and advice from him, because he's the one who gave that man or that woman to you. And that family and friends are the ones who destroy your marriage, destroy your perception. And that he wants to talk about Adam as well. And he wants me to let you know that just because they don't like the person that you're with, it should not matter to you, and you should not care, because God never made that person for you, made that person for them. He made that person for you. And the thing about that is that you're going against what God wants for you, because this person, you can't sleep with your parents, you shouldn't be sleeping with your best friends, and you shouldn't care what your brother or your sister, your aunts, your uncle, or your family think about the person who God created and made for you, because this person is your happiness. You're going to have, and he wants you to know there's a time to build, there's a time to break down, there's a time to heal, there's a time of love, there's a time of refraining from loving, and that in all things, even your marriage is tested, just like Adam and Eve were tested. Eve sinned, but Adam never left her. Adam did what? Adam prayed, and he stayed with his wife, and he did all the things that were required of him by God. He fasted, he prayed. He didn't leave his wife alone in the good times and in the bad times. That's why, like, when you married, it says, and through sickness and in health. So, but God wants you to know that even in your marriage, there's a time to love, there's a time to hate, there's a time to heal, there's a time to build, and there's a time to break down. Even in your marriage. And that and your family, your friends, and no one else should be coming asunder, putting anything asunder and putting anything in your mind. And not only that, you shouldn't be taking any advice from anyone. Your friends, your family, and their approval should not matter about the person God designed and made for you. Because you're supposed to leave your mother and father and be one flesh with the person God gave you. So your parents' opinion about that person shouldn't matter and should not reflect your judgment on how you treat that person, what outsiders are saying, okay? So, like, I'm going to go back to a next analogy that I've used before about a puzzle. You see a puzzle, right? When it's all together, it's a perfect masterpiece when it's all completed. Now, you have your friends in your family who are pulling those pieces from that puzzle, which that masterpiece, that whole puzzle all together is one. Just like you and your ordained spouse, one flesh, you're one together. Now you got gossips, you got envy, You got jealousy. You got different people's perceptions. You got people telling you not to do this. You're telling you not to be with them. They're putting things in your head and they're tearing apart that perfect masterpiece little by little. They're pulling off pieces of the puzzle. What God put together. They shouldn't be coming against that, and you shouldn't let them. And anything that you have concerning your spouse that God gave you, you should take it up to God. That's what he wants you to know. And he wants you to know, if you look to read about Adam and Eve. Adam wasn't going to friends or anybody. He didn't go to Satan about what his wife did. He went to God. And anything your wife or your husband does to you, you should be going to God. You shouldn't be gossiping about them with your friends or your family, or getting approvals from your friends or your family or brother and sisters. It's not supposed to matter, and their opinion doesn't count. And God wants them to know they should mind their own business, and they should be minding their own marriage and minding their own children. And that is something that you people need to understand. And he wants you to know, when people are minding your marriage, minding your business, and dictating your life, it's because they're unhappy and they need to be minding their own marriage and minding their own business. And you should not let them tear apart what he put together, because your great, if you look at Abraham and Sarah, their parents weren't involved in their marriage. When Isaac left Abraham and Sarah, which is his parents, what happened? He left and he became great. All right? His parents, there's a time your parents have to let you go so you can be a parent. God has to teach a man how to be a man. Your parents teach you in your youth, but God is the one who teaches you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through your experience. So you got to leave your parents. They had their experience. They had their time with you. God has to teach you how to be a parent now. Your parents should not be dictating your life or your marriage, nor your friends, nor your best friends, and you should not care whether they like your wife or your husband or not. That shouldn't matter to you, and you shouldn't be seeking their approval, because the person God made for you, that is your best friend. That is your one flesh. That person's going to understand you better than anyone, and that's the person who you sleep with, the person who you make children with. You can't do that with your parents. You shouldn't be doing that with your best friends. You can't do that with your brother and sister. So why are you seeking validation from them when this concerns your children, when this concerns your marriage? Oh, beautiful children just start walking and they're playing. I don't want to put them off, but yeah. So basically that's what he wants you to know, that you shouldn't be looking for people's validation or seeking their approvals concerning your marriage or their advice, because they give you bad counsel and they tear apart what he put together. And that you people shouldn't be like, you need to meet my parents and be seeking your parents' approval. And he wants me to talk to you about divorce. So the person that God made for you, if you divorce them or you marry again, that person who you married again is not the person God made for you. You're not going to get those blessings with that person. That doesn't come with that person. So that's also what he wanted me to let you know. It's adultery. You're committing adultery, and that is it's not a marriage that is approved from him. The wife he gave you is the wife who's approved for you. The husband he gave you. Anything that is not that, it's adultery. All right? And basically, for people to mind their own marriage, and for you not to take counsel from anyone concerning it. I hope this blessed you. I hope this helped you. And I hope this gave you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to, don't let anybody come in between what God put together with you. And any problem that you're having with your wife or your husband or in your marriage, seek the counsel from God and let him help you and build it back together, because he tests you in your marriage and your faithfulness to him, or if you're going to do the things that he told you that you should do in a marriage. And Adam is a great husband. He was an example for men to teach them how to love and how to treat their wife. And men these days do not have a heart or a mind like Adam, though they don't. So I may this bless you, may this keep you, and take this up with fasting and praying, because God wanted me to let you know, don't take advice from others, and don't let anybody come in between what you have, and do not seek their counsel and advice. And oh, also another thing, don't gossip to them about your spouse. Do not tell them your problems. He said, tell him your problems with your spouse. He's the one who gave them to you. He's the one who can fix it. And also, he's the one who breaks down and builds up. He creates good and peace and evil. He said for you to know that. And it's written. So I hope this opens up your understanding. Stop letting people destroy a good thing. Stop letting people's mouth and their gossip and how they feel. How they feel and their opinion is not what God's it's that's a plan of the enemy. Let them plan, but when people are planning, God is wiping out. God has his work. Let God's work and his will be done. Just because someone doesn't like your spouse, you shouldn't care. They're your spouse. They're not your spouse is not their spouse, and your marriage is not their marriage, and you should not seek their validation or their approval. Neither should you care. Stay blessed, beautiful people of God.